Welcome to Ready to Exhale, where we center Black women, their lived experiences, expertise, and rich stories. In each episode, we will gain a deeper understanding of what it takes to hold space for our own well-being. This is a brave space where you will be inspired to express your joy and live in the fullness of who you are. It's also a place where we are no longer waiting to exhale. So now, get ready to exhale and enjoy the show. Welcome back to Ready to Exhale. I'm your host, Katara, and today I am so honored to be joined once again by Dr. Gail Parker. If you've been with us for a while, you know Dr. Gail is no stranger to this space. Her wisdom on yoga therapy, mental health, and collective healing continues to inspire so many of us. Dr. Gail is an author, educator, speaker, and workshop presenter specializing in addressing stress reduction and trauma recovery through the application of restorative yoga. She is the author of 2 books, Restorative Yoga for Ethnic and Race-Based Stress and Trauma, and Transforming Ethnic and Race-Based Traumatic Stress with Yoga. This is the first of a 2-part conversation that I had with Dr. Gail. And in this episode, we are diving into the importance of not waiting until we're at our breaking point to care for our mental health and what it looks like to create daily practices that sustain us as Black women. We'll also reflect on a powerful event we recently co-hosted and the lessons that moment by the river continues to teach us about boundaries, horizons, and freedom. All right, let's get into this conversation that I had with my mentor, Dr. Gail Parker. All right, Dr. Gail, for those who may not know who you are, even though I've read your bio, for those of you who may not know who you are, can you take a few moments and just share a little bit about you with our listeners?
Well, I'm happy to do that. First of all, this is my second time being
That's
on your
right.
podcast, and I'm really happy about that.
You are a reoccurring, well, maybe not a reoccurring, but you were on episode, I forget what episode it was, but season 1,
mhm.
and now you're on season 2. Welcome back.
Excellent. I love being on your podcast. So, I am a psychologist by education and profession, except that I'm phasing out of practice. Well, I really don't practice as a psychologist anymore. I mean, I was in private practice for 40 years, and I closed my practice 10 years ago, which is amazing to me because it feels like yesterday. And I started, I didn't stop, I didn't retire, although I thought I might, but it didn't work out for me because my clients and students, because I was also teaching in various modalities, didn't want me to stop. And they kept saying, oh, no, we have to keep doing this. We have to keep doing this. And so I kept doing it. And one thing led to another. And I came into a whole second or third phase of what had been a very rewarding career. So my background as a psychologist informs everything I say and do and think and the way I am. I mean, that's just the way it is. I can't help it. I've tried to help it, but it doesn't work out for me. I am entering into my 80th year. I'll be 80 years old in December. And so I'm kind of preoccupied with that fact because it's big.
Yeah.
And I am realizing I'm a meditator and formally I'm a yoga practitioner in the sense that meditation is a form of yoga. And that is the form of yoga that I'm engaged in now. I have been engaged in the active practice of yoga for many, many years, for golly, maybe close to 70 years, I guess. I mean, I discovered yoga before anybody else discovered yoga, or it discovered me before there were any such thing as studios, et cetera. And so I was steeped in the philosophy of what the yoga sages teach, one of which is that we are born in what they call original goodness.
Mm.
That is our true identity. And that as a result of socialization, some religious teachings, we forget that. And we don't know, some of us, we didn't even forget it, we don't know it. And so we spend a lifetime trying to overcome, either succumbing to negativity and all that that brings, or fighting to overcome it, or both.
Yeah, sure.
And I have never, even as a child, that never resonated with me.
Mm.
I grew up, I didn't grow up in, I would say, a religious household, but I was attracted to religion as a little girl. And for some reason, my mother, who claimed her was a self-proclaimed agnostic slash atheist, um, agreed to allow me to convert. I was baptized Episcopalian because that's what my father was. And in fact, I didn't know this. This is a side issue here. Wanted to be an Episcopal priest. I did not know this either. He
Wow.
wasn't. Instead, he was one of the original Tuskegee Airmen who made the Air Force his career. So I grew up in the military. So that's that. But anyway, so I was attracted to religion. And because I grew up on Air Force bases, you had a choice of a Protestant church,
Mm.
a Catholic church, or a Jewish synagogue. So the Protestant church was a hellfire and brimstone kind of church.
Mhm,
It was
mhm.
scary. It was really scary. The Catholic Church at that time, because it was before Vatican II, I think that's what it was, when they stopped speaking in Latin and started,
Mm.
saying the church services in English. Anyway, it was just mysterious, and it was beautiful, and it was majestic, and it was everything. So I really liked that.
Mhm.
And I asked my mother if I could become Catholic, and for some reason she said yes. So at age 9 or 8 or 9, I converted to Catholicism. So I grew up in that tradition and really liked it, except because I wasn't steeped in the dogma. I rejected what I didn't like and kept what I liked.
Mhm.
I always liked the idea. I wouldn't have called it we were born in original goodness, but as I matured and learned various things, I thought, well, see, that's what I think. I
Right.
think that at the bottom of our being, at the core of our being, we are good, all of
Mm.
us, but even the
Mhm.
people who are acting like they're not.
Mhm.
And so I think that's an important. I didn't know I was going to share any of this, by the way.
Yeah,
All
no,
you did was
it's
ask
so
me,
good.
tell me who you are. So, but this is where I am right now. This is where
Yeah.
my thoughts are right now. I've always been philosophical in my thinking. I've always been attracted to wisdom.
Mhm.
Not, I've never been dogmatic in my approaches. I've tended to be open minded, um, and so I like to learn and have learned from ancient wisdom and
Mhm.
current wisdom, and I have embodied that. And
Mm.
I think that at this stage of my life, it's time for me to simply share it. I don't have to, I'm not trying to make anything, I'm not trying to produce anything right now. I'm not trying to do anything right now. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, I don't consider what we're doing right now doing.
Yeah.
This is my pleasure. This is a
Mm.
joy. First of all, I adore, I, I love the work that you're doing things right now. You are
I
where I
am.
used, you are, and
Mhm.
that's where you're supposed to be. That is exactly
Mm.
to be between. So here's my psychology piece. between the ages
Yeah.
Between the ages of birth and 25, we are students of life. We're
Mm.
trying to learn, how does this stuff work? Where is my place in it? Between the ages of 25, these are rough ages. They're not
Sure.
really arbitrary, by the way. I'll explain that. Between the ages of 25 and into your 50s, you are out in the world doing and making things happen and trying to figure how to make things happen, running your household, doing your jobs, looking for jobs if you don't have one, just trying to be in the world. You are in the world at that point. When you enter your 50s, between 50 and 75, you start, and for women, by the way, so this sort of kind of corresponds to menopause,
Mhm.
actually.
Mhm. Sure.
When you start approaching that age range, you start thinking a little different. You're not quite as ambitious. That doesn't mean that you're lazy. That doesn't mean that you don't have things to do and to accomplish. We do. You do.
Mhm.
But you're not as, how do I want to say it? How do I want to say it? You're starting to recognize what causes me stress,
That's right.
what you're starting to let go of the things that are no longer serving. Let's put it that way. That's
That's
that,
right.
it's the beginning of that phase of life. When
Sure.
you get to be my age, guess what? I'm so happy. You get to, if you are blessed to live as long as I am living,
Mhm.
and I'm in sound mind, healthy
Mm.
body, spiritually, I regard myself as being blessed.
Mhm.
When you get to be this age and you realize, you know what? You realize, even though I have all the time in the world, I don't
Mhm.
really anymore, not to
Right.
be in this body on this earth. And
Mm.
that's very real. That's not an abstraction anymore. That's a reality. And so now, at this stage of the game, I'm thinking about, okay, so how do I want to spend the next 10 years? I've decided I'm doing 10-year increments now.
That's
Between
right.
now and 90, how do I want life to be? And what I'm realizing is I am being gifted now with enjoying the fruits of my labors. I
That's
am
right.
so happy. It's such a relief. That just came to me exactly in that way this morning.
Mm.
I get to sit. Why? Because I got a request from an organization that I've never heard of, that I don't know, it sounds like they're doing great work, who, we want you to come and speak because we love your work and the blah, 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 yada, tada, tada. And I'm going to say no. Why? Because it is time for me. I'm not doing that stuff anymore. I'm just not.
Wow.
I'm I know, I'm so happy. In other words, I'm not in conflict about that anymore. Well, it takes a while to get there. Between 75 and
Yeah.
80, I was still taking on stuff, taking on stuff. Not everything, but I started paring down. Yeah,
Yeah.
only taking on those things with those people I knew and loved and trusted and etc. That ended up still being a lot.
That's right.
Well, I've got 1 year of obligations that I have committed to, that I intend to fulfill. And then I plan to sit back,
Mm.
relax, enjoy the ride, and share what I know
That's right.
with people who are younger than me. In other words, I'm not trying to be young anymore. I have accepted this is not this is not reality.
Yeah, that
I
this
don't
is the stage of life that you're in. And I'm
Yeah,
hearing and sensing so much joy in that.
I'm so happy. You have no idea. I'm so happy. Because why? Because there's freedom in that. There's freedom in stepping into reality. Now, I'll tell you something, especially now, in 2025, under the circumstances that we all find ourselves in, reality, um, reality can be frightening.
Mhm.
It can be. a downer. It can be filled with negativity. It can be,
Sure.
on the one hand. On the other, and let's say that that's your perspective or your experience right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I know. I'm telling you what I know from experience, from observation,
Mm-hmm.
from an 80-year-old perspective. I'm going to say the truth. Reality is manageable.
Mm.
Reality is manageable. Living a lie is not. You,
Ooh.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-mm-mm. Some
It's not.
wisdom, y'all.
I recently this summer I had an opportunity to do a presentation at the University of California, Santa Barbara. I live in California, and they wanted me to talk about my area of expertise. Really has become and is uh, learning how to reduce stress and manage trauma around race-based stress and trauma specifically.
Mhm.
Just it keeps being relevant. I keep thinking, you know what? Nobody cares about this anymore. It's over. It's irrelevant. It never. I guess it never will be.
Mm.
So I was invited to come and make a presentation to the students at the university. Um, and after the presentation, and most of the students um, were Latino, Black, some Black students, and a handful of white students.
Mhm.
And after the presentation, a professor was there, and she came up to me and she said, "I need your help." I said, "What's that?" She said, "My Hispanic students are terrified
Mm.
of being deported or having their families deported, and I don't know how to help them."
Mm.
Now, because a Black woman, while I understand um, that ethnic stress and trauma right now is overwhelming, and all of us should be concerned, I hadn't specifically
Mhm.
addressed that particular issue.
Right.
I hadn't thought of it. Why? Because it's not my reality.
Mhm. Yeah.
So when she said it to me, I took a deep breath and I said, "Well," I said, "I'll tell you something." I said, "We have to start with reality is manageable." She said, "It is?"
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. I am in jeopardy, and my family's in jeopardy of potentially being snatched off the street and deported.
Mhm.
That's a reality. That is not a fantasy. And to pretend that that is not occurring is not helpful. That's living the lie. That's an
That's right.
example of what I'm talking about. Is it a pleasant reality? No. However, once we've stepped into reality, which is what I think the Exhale app, by the way, supports us
Mm.
in doing, is taking a pause long enough to look reality in the face.
That's right.
Now, now that's where our safety lies, believe it or not. Our safety lies in acknowledging and dealing with reality as it is, not as we want it to be.
Hello. That's right.
Mhm. Is it painful? I remember I used to. Do you remember what? Do you know what a Raggedy Ann doll is?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Do you know what Raggedy Ann dolls? Okay.
Yeah.
So for those of you who don't know, who are too young to know what a Raggedy Ann doll is, how do I
Mhm.
describe it? It's a soft kind of doll that I don't know. I don't even know how to describe her. Google it. Google Raggedy Ann.
Google Raggedy Ann.
Anyway, so I had this poster in my office of a Raggedy Ann doll grimacing
Mm.
with her hands over her ears, and it said, You have just told me more than I wanted to know. And then it
Mm-hmm.
said, the truth will make you miserable, but then it will set you free. It may make you miserable, but then it will set you free.
Mm.
So reality is the truth. Reality as it is, not as you want it to be, is the truth.
Mm. That's right.
Once I
And
yeah, go ahead.
pausing long enough to see the truth.
To let it in.
That's right.
And to the extent, and this I'm going to get back to Exhale app, to the extent that we can't do that, all that means, it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you. Who wants to deal with that reality? You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Sure.
You don't want to have to, but we have to. Whatever that reality is for you. When without accepting that, without stepping into truth, we are not safe. We are
Mm.
safest in our vulnerability. The truth of the matter is, we are all vulnerable all the time. And it's when you pretend you're not that you're not safe. Think about it.
Mm.
Are
Mm-hmm.
you safe from a predator if you don't know that you're vulnerable? No.
No.
So we must start from that reality that we indeed are vulnerable. As human beings, we're the only mammals that stand chest forward, belly forward. Those are our most tender parts. Everybody else is like on hands and knees, on all fours, protecting the most vulnerable parts of self. We show up
Vulnerable.
that way.
Mm-hmm.
How do I protect my vulnerability? Not how do I deny it. There's
Mm.
there's a difference between denying reality and dealing with reality, denying vulnerability and protecting it and cherishing ourselves.
Mm.
And to
Mm-hmm.
me, that's what the Exhale app
Mm.
supports us. It supports us in building capacity to
That's
face
right.
the. See, if you can't face the truth, which is understandable, I mean, trust
Yeah.
me,
The truth
years,
is hard.
yeah, you know what I mean? It's real hard.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't always want to face it. But when you find the courage, when you come from your heart and step
Mm.
out of fear into courage, that's where you find your safety, believe it or not. Does it mean harm will not come to you? No, it doesn't mean that. Harm
Mm-hmm.
may come to you. That's part of reality.
Mm-hmm.
But pretending that it won't doesn't
Yeah.
serve. It just
Yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah.
Makes sense?
Makes so much sense. And something that I've been talking about on um, my last podcast episode, I've been talking about on my social channels is how a lot of times when we talk about or we hear people talk about mental health, we immediately think about when we're in crisis mode or
Mm-hmm.
people that are struggling. You know, I've had people say to me, like, oh, I'm going to share your app with, it'll be a Black woman who I've created the app for, say, oh, I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to share your app with a friend of mine because she's really struggling. And that's fine. You should share the app with your friend that is struggling. And what Exhale app is for, and what I believe we should be prioritizing, is daily practices to take care of our mental and emotional health, much like we know we're supposed to eat healthy and take care of our bodies and get up and brush our teeth and wash our face. Like in the same way, we should be caring and taking care of our mental health and our overall well-being. Using Exhale app is a resource to help you in doing that. When we think about self-care, mental health self-care, what I'm trying to get people to understand is the importance of doing this daily, right? That it does expand our capacity to move through the world that is sometimes harmful, a lot of times for Black women, harmful, right? These systems of oppression are weathering our mental health and well-being. And so it it's something that I feel like I'm like saying over and over and over again, let's not wait until we're having a mental health crisis or where something really big is happening. What if we every day take care of ourselves and really help ourselves? Like you're talking about being vulnerable, help ourselves, aid ourselves in facing the truth and empowering ourselves to move through what that truth is.
Well, this is unfortunately a radical concept, but it's like, what I want to say is duh, but I won't.
Yeah,
Um, it's sort of like this. The worst time to teach someone to try to swim is when they're drowning.
that's right.
They can't do, you can't. So when you're in crisis and you have not been doing these ongoing practices that center you, that help you, that ground you, that support you in dealing with reality as it is, in coming into a place of peace and calm within yourself. It's impossible to do it when you're flipped out.
That's right.
And um, you just can't, it can't be done. That's not the time to start.
Mhm.
As you say, the time to start is now,
That's
and to
right.
begin to practice every day. And so the Exhale app, it doesn't take long. I mean, it's not like you're being asked to sit still for like an hour, it's a
Right.
minute.
That's
It
right.
doesn't take long to just begin to internalize and consider that, what if it turns out that reality is manageable?
Mhm. Yeah.
What if I really can find a place of calm within myself in the midst of all this chaos? Because you're not going to find it out there.
That's right.
It is not out in the world. It's
Mhm.
not. It just isn't. Never has been. But I think we meaning human beings, have evolved to a place where we're being invited to
Mhm.
step into our inner world,
That's right.
to find, what if it turns out that I am at core good?
Mm. Mhm.
Now, when I was practicing psychology, and people don't come to psychotherapy because everything's going well. There is usually a crisis of some sort that brings people in. And so my clients would come in and I would say, why are you here and how do you hope I can help?
Mm.
So they would begin to tell me all the things that were wrong, especially with themselves. But, everybody else, them, everything's wrong, everything's wrong, everything's
Right.
wrong.
Sure.
And then I would say, well, how are you hoping I can help? And they would say to me, well, we want you to, some version of, well, you're here because you have the expertise to
Mhm.
fix it. That wouldn't be the language, or that's the sentiment.
Sure.
That's,
Sure.
and I would say, you know what, I can't do that. But what I can do is support you in shifting your focus to what's wrong with you and everybody else to beginning to focus on what's right with you. And then maybe you'll be able to see what's right with other people too. But let's start with you. It would take a year. I mean, people would argue me, no, you don't understand. And then they'd go on with what's wrong with them. And I would say, listen, you have a PhD in knowing what's wrong with you. You're an expert. Why are you spending money with me for me to help you continue to go over what you already know? Let's explore what's right with you. And eventually, some of them, the people who stayed, would kind of grasp it and say, so there's a resistance to the belief that what if it turns out that I, at core, even though I know I've done all this wrong stuff, all this embarrassing stuff, all some of the, some of the stuff, the cringeworthy stuff that I've done in my life, because that's true too. What if it turns out that underneath all of that, there is a goodness in me that radiates peace that I haven't explored yet?
That's right.
That's the point in taking time to slow down and to go deeper into yourself. It's not
That's right.
about quantity, it's about depth.
That's right.
How deep
Yeah,
am I willing?
I tell my clients all the time, coach Black women, and I tell them like the greatest relationship you'll ever cultivate is the relationship between you and you.
Mhm.
And that requires pausing and going inside to develop that relationship between you and you.
And I think the right question to ask for your listeners, while I'm pausing to go inside, what if I ask the question, what's right with me? What if I add that to the explore, what's right with me? And then, of course, all the things that aren't right with you are going to come up, and all the, all the stuff. But we're ignoring this. We know this. So, but I want to know what's right with me.
Yeah. I think that's a great place to start for those that
I
are
think so
listening.
too. I think so too. I mean, I wish I had known to start with that within myself. I didn't, but I do know now. But I do it now, though. I do.
Mhm.
What's
Yeah,
right?
of
What's
course.
right with me? What's
It
right?
really quiet. It also turns the volume down on our inner critic, that part of us, I call it our saboteur, that really just tells us all the things that we're doing wrong and how we should have and we would have and we could have and la 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 la, and just that internal part of us that just critiques the hell out of us and can be paralyzing, right? Can pin us into a corner where we just don't even have the energy to move or to make change or to do something different or to be someone different. And I think that that question and sitting with that and reinforcing that, saying, I, there is goodness here. I am good at the foundation of who I am. I am good. I am whole. That's something else
Mhm.
I talk to my clients about. You are not broken. You are a whole individual. You've been through some shit, but you're not broken. What if you're good and what if you're whole? Then how do I get up and move through the world if I'm whole, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah,
And again, the question, I'm going to go back to the question because I think it's important. I think because what we don't want to do is try to cover up
that's right.
whatever it is with platitudes like I know I'm good. No, you don't. You have no, you don't. You hope it's true. You'd like it to
That's
be
right.
true, but you
Right.
don't know that yet. I think you have to ask yourself, your inside self, your big S self, okay, what's right with me? And then you sit with it.
That's right.
And I'll tell you something. If you ask yourself that question every single day and sit with the question, just sit with it for a long time, it will start to emerge. The answers will become obvious to you. Then we shift the focus from what's wrong with me. See, it's, when you talked about being paralyzed, I thought paralysis is some of it. What it really is you're stuck because you're stuck on this. I mean, you know the answer to the question, what's wrong with you,
That's right.
right? Do you know what's wrong with you?
Yeah. Oh,
And if
yeah.
you and I were having, could you
Oh,
come
yeah.
up with all the, me too? I know
A
this
list, a long list.
long list. Okay,
Hmm.
so that. So why am I continuing to explore that?
Hmm.
Why am I wasting my time asking what I already know the answer to?
Hmm.
I don't know the answer to what's right with me because I haven't thought about it. And
Mm.
what's right with me beyond my accomplishments,
That's right. Hmm.
beyond my achievements, beyond the doing. So when you ask the question, I'm giving you a roadmap for how to get to where I'm talking about, folks.
Yeah.
What's right with me? You're sitting, so you say, "Well, I have a well, I don't know what. What's an example? I'll ask you, what's right with you? Give me one thing that's right with you."
What's right with me is I'm kind.
So there's the answer. I'm kind. Now that's not enough. Now you want to go deeper into that. What's right about kindness? What's right about being kind?
Mm. You know what's the word that's coming up for me in this moment is, and maybe it's a couple levels deeper, but that I'm worthy, that people are worthy of my kindness, which means I'm worthy.
Ah, so then we say, okay, well, we're role playing right now. We're just doing this,
Yeah,
okay? We're doing a
sure.
little
I
session
love it.
for instructional purposes.
Yeah.
So now just say it. I am worthy of my kindness. Say it 3 times. I am
I am
worthy of my.
worthy of my kindness. I am worthy of my kindness. I am worthy of my kindness.
Now, what if that's the end of your self exploration, your self study question of the day,
Hmm.
and you get on with the rest of your day? I can't wait to talk to you but I'm serious.
Yeah, I'll circle back with you.
Yeah, circle back. I want to know what now manifests when I say, and just, when I just feel my way into that. I am worthy of my kindness. I'm worthy of my kindness.
Hmm.
My kindness.
That's right.
So now here comes a negative thought.
Hmm.
But I am worthy of my kindness. So here comes the negative thought. Now what?
I'm worthy of kindness.
And
I
I'm
have to
supposed
be
to be
kind
kind
to
to
me.
myself.
That's
When
I
I
have
start
to be
criticizing
kind.
myself, it might occur to me, okay, now how can I meet that with kindness?
Hmm.
How can I meet everything that comes up in my mind for me, about me? How can I meet it with kindness? Not how can I make it go away? Not how can I stop it? How can I meet that negative thought with kindness?
Hmm.
When I start being terrified of the circumstance of my reality, okay, let's go back to I'm afraid I might be snatched off the street, deported, whatever,
Yeah,
How can I
sure.
meet that with kindness? How can I meet
Mm.
that with kindness?
Yeah.
That's the next question. And so it just, you just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper.
It's a level of, people throw around self-care,
Mhm.
but that's what's coming up for me. There's a deeper meaning to caring for yourself than I'm going to go get a pedicure. While I love pedicures, self-care, it's deeper. You talked about going deep, right? Like it's deeper than that. And that's what this feels like to me. It's like kind of putting your hands on your own face and saying, you're worthy of kindness.
Yeah.
Even in this moment, right? Even in, you're worthy of care. You're worthy to be
Yeah.
protected,
Yeah.
right? And really developing that inner self-talk. Because if you tune into it, it is pretty critical the way we talk to ourselves.
Oh my gosh.
And if you start with that question, that exercise that we just did together, thank you for that, by the way. I can feel that moving in my body, almost creating a sense of ease, right? And so that question invites us into a different conversation that we're having internally with ourselves. And
Exactly.
that is a form of self-care, right?
And that is transformative.
That's right.
That is transformative.
Exhale is a social movement prioritizing the overall well-being of Black women. You can join our movement by subscribing to this podcast and downloading Exhale app, and by continuing to prioritize yourself and your well-being. Keep taking deep inhales and long, long exhales. Until next time.